looking at ensuring that the election results in Cameroon are credible, fair, and transparent. It took so many months to come up with this initiative. I know it has not been an easy process for Michelle Ndoki and her team, but she is here today because we told you earlier that they were going to be addressing the media and Cameroonians in general. So we are going to be welcoming Barrister Michelle Ndoki. Barrister, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hanson, you want to say something before we give the floor to Barrister
Good
Michelle?
evening, Hanson.
Good evening, Barrister Michelle Ndoki. It's been donkeys of years, but we shall meet again and drink some palm wine. So
Yes.
over to you, Mimi.
Yes.
Okay, so Barrister, can you tell us why you are here tonight?
I'm here because I want to be transparent and clear, and Diso wants to show responsibility when it comes to the project the nation builders put together or launched in September last year, and to talk about what happened on the 12th of October 2025. So I'm going to ask that I'm going to ask for help. I would like to do this in French, and then have someone doing a live translation, if I can call it that way, in English, so that everyone in Cameroon can have an opportunity to listen in the language they master the most, what we are about to discuss tonight. I don't know if the back end, the team is ready.
Hanson, not us, but them.
Okay.
Yes. So just give me 1 second. Okay.
If you need help, just call out. I'm here. I'm watching. Barrister.
So I wanted one of the co-founders of the Nation Builders. Okay. Evening, Kingsley. It's good to be here.
Yes. Good evening, Barrister Michelle, and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mimi and Hanson, for having us and giving us this opportunity to be able to tell Cameroonians exactly what is happening with Diso.
Okay. So,
I think just to say that we have
la première chose que je voudrais faire, c'est dire d'avance toutes mes excuses si on a des problèmes de connectivité. Non, on est au Cameroun, vous savez que ça peut arriver. Je vous remercie de votre patience. Merci d'être présent, surtout aujourd'hui. Nous avons convoqué cette conférence de presse, je le disais tout à l'heure, pour faire preuve de clarté, pour faire preuve de transparence et de responsabilité au sujet du projet Diso et de ce qui s'est passé depuis le jour de l'élection, le 12 octobre 2025. Comme vous le savez, pour beaucoup d'entre vous, Diso est une initiative citoyenne. Cette initiative a été conçue de bout en bout pour garantir la transparence et la vérité dans nos élections. Les dernières élections présidentielles d'octobre 2018 nous ont laissé un goût d'inachevé dans la bouche. Si les débats devant le Conseil constitutionnel ont permis d'établir que nous ne pouvions pas, avec confiance, considérer les résultats soumis à la sanction du Conseil constitutionnel par la Commission nationale de recensement général des votes comme le reflet fidèle de la volonté des Camerounais, nous ne savions pas quel était ce reflet fidèle, nous ne savions pas quelle était la vérité. Nous savions que ce que nous avions vu n'était pas vrai, mais nous ne savions pas quelle était la vérité. Et nous avons donc construit Diso, non pas comme une plateforme politique ou comme un projet de l'opposition, comme on aime l'appeler ici, mais comme un outil national destiné à tous les citoyens, quel que soit leur bord, pour observer, enregistrer et protéger la vérité du vote. Kingsley. I'm alone.
Yes, thank you, Barrister, and thank you, everyone, again. We have called this press conference virtual, of course, to provide clarity, transparency, and accountability regarding the Diso project and what has happened since Election Day, October 12th, 2025. As many of you know, Diso is a citizen-led initiative built from the ground up to ensure transparency and truth about our elections. For decades, Cameroonians have said elections are rigged. This year, we wanted to say, not if citizens take responsibility. We saw what happened in 2018, where evidences of fraud were presented, evidences of unsigned PVs were presented, but the Constitutional Council said they were unacceptable. They were they could not accept them into evidence. And we have had 7 years of reflection, which led to us building Diso. But it is not a political tool. It's not a platform for the opposition, as many have assumed. Rather, it is a national tool for all citizens to observe, to record, and to protect the truth of our vote.
Donc, vous le savez, l'ambition était d'être en mesure de vous annoncer à la sortie des urnes le soir du 12 octobre ou le 13 octobre un rapport préliminaire. Malheureusement, nous avons été confrontés à un certain nombre de défis sur lesquels je voudrais m'exprimer dans la plus grande transparence. Nous avons développé un système et ce système était conçu, c'était une plateforme numérique qui était conçue pour collecter, analyser et compiler les résultats. Nous avons mis, quand nous avons fini de la concevoir, cette plateforme en ligne, mais il est apparu, lorsque nous avons commencé à recevoir des données, que la variété dans le type de données que nous recevions, c'est-à-dire nous avions des photographies, où nous avions des procès-verbaux, où nous avions des formulaires, cette grande variété était complexe pour le système à analyser et ne nous donnait pas une assurance satisfaisante de restituer les résultats tels qu'ils ressortaient des bureaux de vote. Nous avons donc dû retarder le rapport préliminaire et solliciter à nouveau des équipes, une deuxième équipe, pour corriger et recalibrer le système. Et nous avons remis la plateforme en ligne. Puis, nous avons décidé de nous doter d'une deuxième plateforme à titre de précaution. Et nous avons donc commencé à recevoir des résultats. Nous avons aussi reçu des résultats que le système a rejetés parce qu'il s'agissait de faux. Nous avions notamment des tableaux, puisque certains des rapports étaient des photographies. Nous avions notamment des tableaux qui manifestement avaient été retouchés, ce que l'outil d'intelligence artificielle associé à la plateforme a permis de détecter. Et nous avons été un peu étonnés d'ailleurs du nombre de ces de ces faux rapports. Nous avions entendu un peu plus tôt un représentant de l'autorité dénigrer les plateformes et pointer du doigt particulièrement notre initiative. Nous pensions donc qu'elle n'avait pas beaucoup de prix à leurs yeux. Une force a été de constater, compte tenu du nombre de faux rapports que nous recevions, qu'elle était quand même perçue comme un outil capable de déranger l'ordre établi. Fort de ce constat, nous avons demandé à partir du lundi 13 octobre à nos équipes de réouvrir les plateformes pour obtenir plus de données afin de renforcer la qualité de l'information que nous avions à disposition. Ce n'était pas une décision facile. Nous avions pris l'engagement de donner un rapport préliminaire le 13 octobre. Nous avons reçu énormément d'appels téléphoniques pour nous exprimer, mais c'était nécessaire. Notre priorité a toujours été l'intégrité, ça n'a jamais été la rapidité. Nous aurions pu publier des chiffres plus rapidement, mais cela aurait pu induire notre grande et belle nation en erreur. Nous n'avons donc pas publié des chiffres dans lesquels nous n'avions pas une confiance absolue et aujourd'hui, j'espère que les impatients parmi vous sauront comprendre que cette précipitation n'est pas notre façon de faire. Kingsley.
Yes, thank you, Ken Barrister. Just I'm recapping what Maître said in French because I see people in the comments asking. So just it's a bilingual. So what I'm saying is just a repetition of what she said in French. So we did face challenges with the project, which is why our plan, which was to give an exit poll on the night of the 12th, we had intended that by 10 p.m. on the night of the elections, we will give an exit poll. And we planned to give a preliminary report the following morning, which would have been 24 hours after the vote. Unfortunately, we faced major technological challenges. And this is what we are very open about. We had initially developed one digital system, but as our IT team tested it, they ran into complications, mostly due to the complexity of Cameroon's network infrastructure and the diversity of devices used by observers. We then had to bring in a second team of technicians to build a separate platform to ensure continuity. Both platforms, electactive.com and disoapp.com, went live on Saturday, October 11th, the day before the elections. On Sunday morning, on October 12th, as polling stations opened and observers began submitting reports of incidents, we received a lot of incident reports in the very first hour from different parts of Cameroon. You've seen some of them online now, many of them from the Northwest and the Southwest regions, many of them from different polling stations across the country. But our systems became suddenly overwhelmed. I think we underestimated the nature of problems that were in the Cameroon's election. Some observers, for example, started sending written reports. When we opened again subsequently for results to come in, we saw, as you all also saw on social media, some of the reports were on blackboards, some of them were photographed whiteboards, others were handwritten sheets, and others were uploaded images of the processed verbal or the PVs. And what we had done was to ask the technicians to create a system that could read this data and transmit them into data that can be then give us the actual result. Unfortunately, we realized that amongst this data, there was a lot of fake and tampered ones. The system flagged them, and there were reports that had been digitally altered by AI, which they report again, the system picks them up. But now our systems had to be doing much more than we had anticipated. And so our technical team had to bring it down again on that same day, which is why many of the trained observers that we had could not submit. And then many of the public that we had asked them to crowdsource information and send couldn't. We received a lot of this by WhatsApp, but unfortunately we cannot use that because we want to be sure that the integrity of the data that we've received is preserved. Our technicians have been working day and night to ensure that we achieve that objective, which we set out from the beginning. On Monday, October 13th, we brought in additional IT engineers to reinforce quality control, data validation, and cybersecurity measures because the systems came under severe attack. However, this wasn't an easy decision, but it was for us. We believed it was the right one. Our goal has always been integrity over speed. We know, like every Cameroonian, we saw what happened. We saw the preliminary results. We saw the results from the diaspora, which we got. We saw so many, but we did not want to be hasty in our decision because integrity for us was more important than speed. We could have rushed to publish, but then we would have risked misleading the nation. That is not who we are.
Okay. Maintenant, je voudrais resituer le contexte de ce projet. Diso s'appuie sur le modèle Process and Result Verification for Transparency, donc la vérification du processus et des résultats pour la transparence. C'est un projet que nous avons monté pendant plus de 2 ans et nous avons, pendant ces 2 années, travaillé à la conception de l'outil digital, au recrutement et à la formation des volontaires, ainsi qu'à la création de partenariats avec d'autres organisations de la société civile. Nous avons ainsi réussi à former plus de 9000 volontaires répartis dans les 10 régions du Cameroun. Je le dis pourquoi. Une des choses qui circulent, une des informations qui circulent actuellement sur les réseaux sociaux, c'est qu'il faut avoir 31 000 procès-verbaux pour être en mesure d'estimer ce qu'a pu être la volonté des Camerounais le 12 octobre. Ceci est inexact. En utilisant des méthodes scientifiques qui sont connues, des méthodes de statistiques inférentielles, on peut définir un échantillon représentatif de bureaux de vote dans lesquels les observateurs rendent donc compte du déroulement du scrutin dans un premier temps et du décompte dans un deuxième temps. Et cela suffit si nous avons un échantillon d'une qualité suffisante pour produire des résultats avec 10% des bureaux de vote. On peut produire des résultats avec une marge d'erreur de 1%. C'est ce qui a été fait dans plus de 170 élections dans le monde ces 30 dernières années. C'est ce qui a été fait au Sénégal l'année dernière. C'est ce qui a été fait au Malawi il y a quelques jours à peine. Il n'est donc pas nécessaire d'avoir l'ensemble des procès-verbaux, mais il est nécessaire d'avoir un échantillon représentatif de bureaux de vote. Et comment est-ce que l'on fait, on rend un échantillon représentatif? Il faut connaître la réalité globale. L'un des plus grands défis de notre projet a été de connaître la réalité globale. Et j'entends par là le manque de transparence de l'ECAM par rapport au nombre exact et à la situation exacte des bureaux de vote. Pour que notre technologie fonctionne correctement, nous avions besoin des données sur les bureaux de vote et sur le nombre d'électeurs inscrits par bureau. Ces informations essentielles ont été mises à la disposition du public seulement lundi dernier, moins d'une semaine donc avant le vote, et elles ont été mises à la disposition du public dans un format et sur un support qui ne permettait pas d'exploiter ces informations. Et l'ECAM a publié 1500 images sur Facebook, nous empêchant donc de recueillir rapidement les données indispensables dans un délai raisonnable pour pouvoir définir notre échantillon représentatif. Rien que le travail pour compiler les images, en extraire manuellement les chiffres et convertir les chiffres en fichiers exploitables a pris 3 jours. À la fin, en nettoyant toutes les données, nous avons constaté un certain nombre d'incohérences entre les totaux régionaux et les chiffres nationaux publiés par Elecam. Malgré ces obstacles, nous avons persévéré parce que nous croyons que le Cameroun mérite la transparence. Kingsley.
Yes. So we would like at this point to look at the context behind this project, because many people just hear there's Diso, but it has an international context to it. Diso is based on the Process and Results Verification for Transparency, or PRVT model. It's a model that has been used successfully in over 100 elections across the world. It was used in tabulation of results in Senegal. It was used in Nigeria, partially, and it was used in Malawi successfully, where the incumbents lost, and there was transparency. It is just a parallel system of reporting that is created and run by civil society to run parallel with that of the Elecam. And the reason we thought this was important is that for a long time, we've always blamed the system, but we thought, instead of cursing the darkness, let us light a candle. This initiative is to empower Cameroonians not just to be able to vote, but to be able to protect their vote using modern technology. We have worked for over 2 years to build this project, conceiving the system, recruiting and training volunteers, and creating partnerships with other civic organizations. We successfully trained over 9,000 volunteers representing all 10 regions of Cameroon. This, I must emphasize, we did without a budget. There is no organization behind Diso that is providing finance. This was largely due to what Michelle, myself, and the other co-founders of the Nation Builders could come up with from our pockets, and what the time and resources that the volunteers could give for free. So we did something that political parties don't do, which is we asked Cameroonians to own their own destiny, and they stood up and they got counted. And we got 9,000 volunteers registered and trained in a very short space of time with almost no resources from anywhere else other than from ourselves. But despite all this, one of our greatest challenges came from Elecam. And it was Elecam's lack of transparency. Because Elecam, our system, is not operating in space. It relies on the data that has been published by the Electoral Commission, on the number of polling units, on the number of people registered per polling units, because we want to be accurate and work in accordance with what is established by that commission. But we, up to last Monday, we had only 27 polling units, which were the ones for 2018. And Elecam ended up publishing the data for this year's election on Monday, October 6th, less than a week to the elections. And they did so on Facebook, not as text or data, but as a series of images. Our team then had to download over 1,500 image files, compile them into PDFs, extract the numbers manually, and convert them into usable Excel files. This process took 3 full days. When we finished cleaning the data, we discovered numerous discrepancies between regional totals and Elecam's national figures. For example, you had seen that the Northwest had 600,000 votes. The Southwest has 400 and something thousand votes. We saw that those figures did not. That was the totals that Elecam gave. But when we compiled their own regional totals from the files that they spread on Facebook in a format that they knew was going to be very difficult for anyone to calculate, when we went through all the work continuously without sleep for 3 days, teams were working to extract this data. We started finding inconsistencies in them. This is part of what we will be producing as our final report. Despite these obstacles, we persisted because we believe Cameroon deserves transparency.
Au cours de ce processus, nous avons aussi subi des pressions politiques. Le ministre de l'administration territoriale, Paul Atanganji, a tenu des propos menaçants, nous accusant de vouloir publier de faux résultats. Soyons clairs, c'est une grande déformation de la réalité et une manœuvre d'intimidation, laquelle vise à restreindre encore plus qu'il ne l'est déjà l'espace civique. Diso n'a jamais eu pour objectif de proclamer des résultats. Nous ne sommes pas un acteur politique, nous ne sommes pas ELECAM. Nous sommes des citoyens exerçant notre droit constitutionnel d'observer, de documenter et de protéger la vérité. Plutôt que de répondre par la confrontation, nous avons choisi de rester concentrés, en veillant à ce que chaque information traitée respecte les plus hauts standards de vérification. Aujourd'hui, nous pouvons confirmer que nous avons reçu des résultats provenant de milliers de bureaux de vote à travers le pays. Notre système est toujours en cours de traitement et de vérification croisée des procès-verbaux, des photographies, des notes de pointage, des fiches de pointage originales. Les données dont nous disposons jusqu'à présent, et je tiens à le souligner, elles sont préliminaires, montrent que le candidat du FSNC, Issa Chiroma Bakari, arrive en tête, suivi du président sortant Paul Biya, bien après les autres candidats. Nous continuons à vérifier et à mettre à jour ces chiffres quotidiennement, au fur et à mesure que nous recevons de nouvelles données des observateurs et des citoyens. Si vous disposez de PV authentiques ou d'informations crédibles, merci de les soumettre directement sur www.disoap.com. Je tiens à insister. Il circule beaucoup de fausses informations. Ne soumettez que les données que vous avez personnellement collectées. Notre système détecte automatiquement les documents falsifiés par intelligence artificielle et ces documents seront rejetés. Kingsley.
Yes, so obviously, I know that many of you would have guessed already, or you have seen already that this project did not go without challenges from the government. As soon as we announced this project, we started receiving threats from the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, who made statements accusing us of trying to publish false results. I mean, it's laughable because he said that when the election had not even taken place, he's already assuming that civil society wants to publish false results. But let's be clear. This was a gross misrepresentation of our work and amounts to intimidation that was simply aimed at shrinking civic space further. We know how he has done with a lot of NGOs that work for accountability in Cameroon, and he was struggling to do exactly the same with Diso. We are citizens, and Diso is not about declaring results. We are not a political actor, and we are not ELECAM. We are simply exercising our constitutional rights to observe, document, and protect the truth. So rather than respond with confrontation, we stayed focused, ensuring that every piece of information we handle meets the highest standards of verification. If someone is not afraid of the truth, they will not be afraid of Diso. If someone has nothing to hide, they will have no problem with Diso, because Diso simply helps everyone involved in the electoral process to handle things perfectly. As a matter of fact, we will not need Diso if ELECAM did its job properly. Today, we can confirm that we have received from hundreds of polling units across the country preliminary results. Our system is still processing and cross-checking these results against original PVs that we've also received. The data we have so far, and I must emphasize this at preliminary, shows FSNC candidate Issa Chiroma Bakari leading, followed by incumbent President Paul Biya, and then others. You have heard some of them who also have partial data have come up to concede. That is actually consistent with the data we have. So we are continuing to verify and upload these results daily as more data comes in from our observers and from citizens. If you have authentic PV or credible information, please submit them directly via www.disoapp.com, and we will cross-check them, and we will be able to collect the data. I just want to say that if you go on there right now, if you see that it's been closed down and says results processing, know that they've received a batch and they're allowing the system to process, because we don't want it overwhelmed so that it shuts down. And just to be clear, the system has not been hacked. They didn't succeed to hack it, but they tried to overwhelm it. It's technology. So someone can always find a way to bypass technology. But the fact that we are doing this for the first time, a few Cameroonians, counting on ordinary Cameroonians across the country in the most difficult terrains, in the far north region, in the east region, in the south region, in the northwest and southwest regions, to be able to do this means that Cameroonians can truly monitor their own elections, and we can be able to actually deliver our results faster than Elecam can. We are not going to take over Elecam, but we are going to teach them how to do their job, because Cameroonians deserve the truth. We are there's a lot of fake information out there. A lot. We saw evidence of 3 journalists that posted winnings from the CPDM, and they all had the same information, but from 3 polling units. It's sad that we see such information, and some people collected that information and shared them with us. Our systems picked them up. That's how we could pick that this information were not correct. And then we were able to find out also that this information, the sources of this information, had been shared by 3 journalists, and these journalists all created one document and then just changed the polling units and shared amongst themselves, able to actually detect that. That is why the job is harder than have been, because those who are to uphold the truth are unfortunately trying to thwart it. So we would advise that people should not submit information that they did not collect themselves. Don't see something on social media and want to submit there, because you are only making it harder to get the truth. The system would pick it out, but it would delay the process. It would, yes, you can see that is the Diso system on there, being scrolled up on the screen. So I would just say that we would continue to get results as our system allows, so that we can process them and be able to deliver the results as they come in. If you bring in AI, it picks it up. If you bring in falsified data, it picks it up. So please send only genuine information. Michel?
Je voudrais maintenant remercier nos partenaires et nos soutiens. C'est vrai, Kingsley l'a dit tout à l'heure, il y a certains moments où on s'est senti un petit peu seul, mais nous n'avons pas été seuls dans cette aventure, loin de là. Et je voudrais prendre le temps de reconnaître the West Cameroon Association Think Tank, Project C, les forces alternatives pour le changement, Protège ton vote, la VAR et tous les autres réseaux citoyens qui ont cru en cette mission. Je voudrais remercier Mimi Mefo Info et Cameroon News Agency pour leur couverture professionnelle et constante. Et enfin et surtout, ma plus profonde gratitude va à nos volontaires, des milliers de nos volontaires qui ont donné leur temps, leurs compétences, leur courage, leur argent. Nous avons reçu tout au long de cette aventure un certain nombre de dons, de gestes de cœur, toujours fait avec gentillesse et humilité. Nous avons reçu tellement, et En contrepartie, nos volontaires n'ont reçu même pas une promesse de rémunération. J'adresse un merci tout particulier à nos coordinateurs régionaux, à nos centaines de coordinateurs départementaux et nos coordinateurs d'arrondissement. Vous avez démontré que les Camerounais, peuvent servir leur pays avec intégrité et avec fierté. À nos équipes techniques, je voudrais dire, votre engagement, vos nuits blanches et votre persévérance ont rendu tout cela possible. Nous vous sommes profondément reconnaissants. C'est la première fois dans l'histoire du Cameroun que des citoyens s'unissent de manière aussi organisée et pacifique pour surveiller leurs propres élections. Nous avons beaucoup appris sur la technologie, sur l'organisation, mais surtout sur nous-mêmes. Le plus important, c'est que nous avons prouvé que la transparence est possible lorsque les citoyens travaillent ensemble pour le bien commun. Le chemin n'est pas arrivé à son terme. Nous avons encore une pierre. Ce pays appartient à son peuple et personne ne devrait craindre la transparence. Je vous remercie.
So I would also want to take this moment to thank our partners and supporters. Obviously, we said it that it was a coalition of civil societies. Yes, it was an initiative of the nation builders. Diso was originally conceived by the nation builders, but along the way, we formed coalitions with other civil society organizations that had the same vision or who were trying to do the same thing. Once we came up with the idea, pioneered it, many people picked it up, and we tried to bring many together. I want to thank particularly here the West Cameroon Association, WCA. It's a think tank organization. We want to thank Project C. They've been here on this platform a number of times. They've really been supportive. Want to thank Force Alternative pour le Changement, the FRC, Protection Boat. You would have seen them. They've also been working on things like this, and the VAR. They also helped us because we couldn't get all these 9,000 volunteers trained. Political parties don't succeed to get 1,000. Some political parties don't get 3,000, but we got 9,000 in 1 year, and we got all of them thanks to this coordination between the different civil society organizations I've mentioned. And we also want to thank media organs, MMI News, and Cameroon News Agency. We are on here today with their platforms to be able to talk to Cameroonians and to their thousands and thousands of followers across different platforms. We thank you for your consistent and professional courage. We did not have money to be able to pay for media spaces, but they understood that we were just a civil society, and they took it upon themselves to publish information about Diso many times over. And that is how we got a lot of some of the volunteers that we recruited. Thank you so much. And finally, my deepest gratitude goes to our volunteers. Thanks, thousands of them who gave their time, their skills, and their courage without any promise of pay. We can say it categorically, not a single franc was given to any one of them. Nothing was given to anyone as incentive for them to be a volunteer. Special thanks. They have shown us that even without money, we can get Cameroonians to work for their country, especially when it comes to things like this. In fact, the mood we've seen over the last few days is representative of that willingness of Cameroonians to strive for the change they want to see, rather than just complaining about a system that looks like it's insurmountable. But I want to thank especially the 10 regional coordinators of all the 10 regions, and the hundreds of divisional and subdivisional coordinators. You have proven that Cameroonians can serve their country with integrity and pride. To our technical teams, your commitment, your sleepless nights, and your resilience made this possible. We are deeply grateful. As a matter of fact, this is the first that citizens have come together in such an organized and peaceful way to monitor their own elections. Those of you who were here a long time ago, you heard the reports from the international observers. They came, they stayed in Yaoundé, and then they gave a report that looked like everything went fine. But we, the Cameroonians who went out there without a budget, who covered in our own individual polling units, know the truth. We don't need foreigners coming in to tell us the truth when we know that truth. And that is what we will continue to do with this project. We have learned a lot from technology, about organization, and about ourselves. I will never take a Cameroonian for granted again, because they've proven to me that they can do it. If you just give them the road, show them the way, they will follow. And they would this impossible n'est pas Camerounais, as they will say. They say we are the continent. I used to think those were just what I saw in the volunteers, in the technical teams that were doing it for free. When we talk of technical teams, these are technical teams of Cameroonians working, building technology that can serve their nation and doing so for free. When we checked the cost, I would have to say it, when we checked the cost of producing this platform, it was $24,500. Money that I don't think that Michelle and I could ever see. So it was like a big task before us, but we have had Cameroonians step in and do this for us. Yes, there are challenges, but those challenges only tell us that we are capable. Most importantly, we have shown that transparency is possible if citizens work together for the common good. The road ahead is long, but we have taken the first steps. Every single Cameroonian who went out that day to vote, who stayed there, who ensured that transparency was done, who challenged on injustice, who took videos, who took images, who took PVs, everyone took a first step towards reclaiming the country and ensuring that we have a fair and transparent system. Cameroon belongs to its people, and no one, and I mean absolutely no one, should fear transparency. Afraid of transparency, then they are not Cameroonian, because we Cameroonians, the patriots of that country, do anything to ensure that we have a transparent election and that the choice of the people at the ballot is respected. Thank you so much. I don't know if Mimi and Hansen and there was another journalist, you've got questions for us.
So yes, we are here. I'll go first with my question. So my first question is actually, there was the question in the comment section. I picked someone asking whether Diso is working with Elections Cameroon.
Kingsley, do you want to answer that? It's
yes, difficult. Okay, let me just start because it's a question in English. Absolutely not. I think you've already heard from our presentation that we actually struggled because Elecam would not release data. If we were working with them, they would have had the data easily. They wouldn't have spread it on Facebook and left it there so that we can suffer. They didn't even, I'm sure that they're hearing for the first time that we went to Facebook and collected all that information, transformed it, and we are able to start seeing that they didn't do a proper job in terms of that. Let me just clarify. That is, we are just talking about the process. Like I said, this is PRVT, process and results verification for transparency. So the first part we are talking about is the process. The process has its issues, and we will come to the results when the results are finally, we've gotten all the results. Again, just to clarify, we are not looking for the full results like Cameroonians think. And contrary to what they present, Elecam presents that they need the full results to know who won. That is not true. Statistically, you can have a representative sample of the population, 31,000, so you can have 3,100 polling units, and that can be able to tell you the exact person who won, and it will be a margin of error of just about 0.5, if I'm not mistaken, yes. So the answer to that question is simply no. We don't work with Elecam. We are a group of Cameroonians, citizens, volunteers. They are not known because we did not take accreditation from Tanganji. We didn't need his accreditation because the electoral code permits us, everyone who is registered to vote, to be there.
Okay, so Hansen, you have the next question.
Yes, just want to know, we've been seeing you on the opposition front. That's clear. So how did the coalition ensure impartiality, given that some people may perceive it as an opposition-linked initiative?
We clearly have a bias when it comes to the institution governing this country, clearly, because as we were saying, October 2018, we received results from Elekam, and it was clear that those results were not the true reflection of Cameroonians' will. It was clear. Then we see that we are looking for data like something that should be put out there very willingly by Elekam. List of voters, list of polling stations. We did not get it until the 6th of October. And we know that some political leaders have sued Elekam to get this information because it is vital. We noticed that on the day of the election, we received reports that some polling stations were moved that very day, in Southwest and Northwest in particular. In some areas, they moved the polling station that very Sunday morning. Military escorting voters to the new place and taking their phones away from them. So this is not to tell you that this institution, these authorities are there to promote transparency. We have sent letters because we did not want to rely on this bias. We sent letters to all the candidates, including Paul Biya, telling them about this initiative and telling.
Okay, so I think Barrister Michendoki has an.
I think Kingsley is there to.
Okay. Yes, Barrister will certainly join us.
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me. I had to change.